When you're live.
Yep.
We're live. We are live. Come on in, everybody. So good to see everybody. We just want you to just come on in because tonight, once again, it's the Deborah and Carol chatting tonight. And so we are both excited about coming together on our once a month little chat. And so we want to just welcome you and give you an opportunity to come in and join us in the conversation or in the chat. So we're going to give you a few minutes to come on in. So y'all share, make sure you share this because we have great information to share. So we are excited about it. So we want to give you a few minutes to just come on in so you can chat with Deborah and Carol tonight. So we're excited. Deborah, how are you doing while we're waiting on everybody?
I'm doing great. Just sipping my coffee and chilling out.
Yes. Been waiting on this afternoon cup of coffee so we can just chat. So I'm excited about it.
Yes. Turned out to be a beautiful day, so all is well.
Well, that's awesome. Well, in Texas, we've had bad weather today. We woke up with 29-degree weather and a lot of sleet and some bad weather, and we really have had a couple of bad accidents today, this morning, but prayerfully, I think there's still been some fatal injuries, but all still is well that we are here. So I didn't really have to get out in it, and I'm excited about that. So, but tomorrow probably be a little bit more sunshine going on. So you guys just come on in, and I'm gonna share. Sleet and some bad weather. All right, all right. Well, I see that Miss Deborah Herbert is in and watching us, and we're excited. Mr. Dan, a lot of regulars that you have, I noticed as well. So we're excited, you all, and please come on in. And as we get started, I always love doing this chat because it gives me an opportunity to ask the author many questions that I have found that in her book have been so beneficial to me. And so if it's beneficial to me, we hope and pray that it will be beneficial to you as well. But I love, Deborah, I just love your platform that you are continuing. Your book is about building your best life. And then for our young men, and not that we want to negate or not think the young ladies are not important, but it is so important that we start reaching out to our young men and trying to help them build their best life. And like I said the last time, I can always, when I'm reading your book, I can just always see the passion that you have. And then I always think that it is a book that, it's a book of principles. So that means that we got to always kind of make reference back to it, because I'm telling you, I have to go back and I was like, oh, this is good. I can use this for myself.
Right.
But and I don't catch all of the guests that come on, but I particularly love the night that you had your pastor. And I remember you were shaking your head when he said that he was going to retire. And he said, every time he brings that up, he said he watched you all shake your head. But, eventually he said when he retires, he's going to take you and your husband your husband and him would retire at the same time. Wow. So I thought that was funny. But he had great information, and you had Coach Ricardo on as well that night. And it was just a great opportunity to hear them share. But when we were chatting a little bit, we talked about what Ricardo Miller said. And I thought that was very interesting, because he said, a growing child needs a growing parent. That was phenomenal to me. What do you think about that, Deborah?
I mean, I could not believe, he always says these things that are like, wow, but that growing child needs a growing parent. That was just like right on time. And that is so true, because, everything is changing. Our kids are learning new things. They're doing new activities, things that they did back 5 years ago, maybe even 2 years ago. They're not doing that anymore. So as they're growing, the parents cannot stand still. They have to keep up with the children. So, that is why I think it's just so important that we have that village. We need a village of people.
Mhm.
Parents cannot do it alone. A lot of parents probably see their children less than some other people. Some teachers see their kids more than the actual parent does, because by the time the parent comes home, it's time to get dinner. They're getting dinner or whatever. Child's in their room doing homework. They rush in, eat, then they're back doing homework and off to bed. But the
Right.
teacher has spent some time with them during the day. So, it's important that the village, which includes the neighbors, the grandparents, the parents, pastors, mentors, everybody gets in there and try to assist these young men, because, these basic principles that I teach are not taught anymore. I don't know
Mm.
where the ball dropped, but it appears that a lot of parents are not teaching them. So, you know, I guess I know it's a different generation. There's several different generations between myself and
Mhm.
generation now, but somewhere that ball dropped, and it got to be that it wasn't so important. But basic principles, to me, they never die. They remain important, and they're key to life. You can be as educated as Einstein, but you have to have basic skills, or you're not going to make it.
Right. So basically kind of what you're saying, we want to reach the young men, but somewhere we got to reach the parents as well, right?
Right,
Because if we don't, there's chances are, like you said, the parents, they're sometimes when the whole dynamic has changed. Sometimes parents have to come in and get to work, and like you said, and they send them to get homework and then off to bed they go. And so I love that you said we have to incorporate the village. And I think that is so important that we all realize that we are all here to help one another. And
right,
the more we can reach out to, parents, the more we can reach out to in our community, in our church, and things like that, and be the assistant that we need to make sure that all of our boys are, building the best life that they can, because ultimately we want them to succeed. And
right.
so, like I said, I love in the book because, I always say good things come in threes, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. We talk about faith, hope, and love. But you talked about these three principles in your book. And you said, I love that you said they have stood the test of time. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes, again, these basic principles are just so important. So I talk
Hmm.
about our actions, our credibility, and our life.
Hmm.
They are important because a person's actions impact their daily life. I mean,
Hmm.
you don't do anything without acting or reacting to something.
Right.
So I think following my basic principles will equip people to make informed choices. When you make a choice, you want it to be something that makes sense. I think one of the quotes that President Obama made was, you don't just open your mouth to show people that you're not intelligent. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of times you just gotta stop. You know, don't let stuff just flow out your mouth.
Yes. Hmm. Hmm.
I think if we stopped, all of us, if we stopped, take pause, there would
Hmm.
be less violence in the entire world, because
Right.
people just react and they shooting, just killing everyone. But to get back on my, my actions, but just stop and then think about whatever it is before you act,
Mhm.
because it is better to be slow to react than it
Mhm.
is to act quickly and perform in a way that may be detrimental to yourself, your loved ones, or others.
And I really do like that because we do all need to, that's a principle we could all use, that we need to think before we speak and think before we act or even react, because a lot of times we act, when we react, it's out of our emotions, it's out of us being fearful and all those kind of things. But then when we react, instead of just thinking about how we're going to respond or act, then we can have that opportunity, like you say, to just stop and think about it for a minute. I always say, stop and breathe, Carol. Stop and breathe before you say something.
Right.
And so sometimes we really do need to remind ourselves that that is an important principle, because just one negative action can affect your whole life, right? You want
Yes.
to talk about that a little bit?
Yes. So as we perform our actions, then what does that impact? Your credibility. Your credibility is so important. It's like, to me, one of the most valuable assets that you have, because
Mm-hmm.
that might be just your name. That might be the only asset that you have. And it is key to every aspect of your life. So
Mm-hmm.
you need to protect that vital asset.
Mm-hmm.
And my basic principles will help people to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just um, we may hang with the wrong individuals. We may not think, but we go out and do something, and then it's like, woe is me. I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry, but it's done. And it could be something very, very bad. And a quote I have in my book is, it takes 1 second to ruin a good reputation, but it takes blood, sweat, tears, and years to build or rebuild one.
And that is so powerful. You like you said in the book, you start today building your reputation, building your credibility. And then, like you say, in one split second, one wrong reaction, one wrong word can get your whole, everything that you work for, and then have it just completely demolished overnight. And it takes you, like you said, it takes a long time sometimes to rebuild your credibility. And I think about it as far as being trustworthy. People talk about how important trust is, but trust is earned. And when you make a person lose trust, that's the same thing like your credibility. It's really very difficult to reestablish that or rebuild that. But you also said something. I want to back up to that action again, and you said something about your actions say to others what's important. For instance, your words, your gestures, your posture, your facial expression, movement of your eyes. Talk about that a little bit, because all of those, when we start talking about our action, have so much to do with what message we're sending out to other people.
Right. So it's just like if you go on a job interview. So you
Mm-hmm.
say that you want this job, you have crafted this most professional resume and sent it in. So you look like you're the best thing since sliced cheese on paper. But you get an interview and you're sitting like this. And they ask you a question. Yes. No.
Mm-hmm.
If you had a situation where you needed to make sure that the work went out timely, and the work in stack A has to be out in 10 minutes, but the work in stack B, you have an hour to do that. And then someone else comes in and bring you a project. What are you going to do?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to get it all done. Okay, really? Okay, well, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you coming. But
Mm-hmm.
it's important that you have great posture, you have good eye contact, and anytime I see a young man and he like this, I'm like, hey, hello, hi. I said, okay, right here, right here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Look people in their eyes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because, when it comes down to it, if somebody asks you a question and you look it all down here, whether you're telling the truth or not, they're going to think you're lying.
Wow.
So, you need to look people in their eye, have good posture. You don't roll your eyes at people. I
Mm-hmm.
got hit upside the head so many times by my mom, not by my mouth, because I knew not to say anything about rolling my eyes.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I'm going to knock your eyes straight.
You must
Stop.
have the same kind of mom I had. You
Yeah.
do not roll your eyes at them at all. You better, like you said, you better look straight ahead because I had an experience like that. I thought I was just gonna look down, and she thought I was looking down, and she thought I was rolling eyes, and it was not nice for me that day at all. So
Yep.
it is very important that we have that great posture and that we because our whole body sends a message,
Right.
right? And so when we don't take advantage of that and like you just saying, these are just basic truths, basic principle skills that not only can young men use, but people can use them, in their entire lives, especially if we haven't learned some of these principles as well. So we still can use those, but I thought that was important. That everything about us speak volume and tell something about us, and so if we could, help our young men understand that and how important it is, like you were saying, not to be able to articulate to that person and express yourself, and not necessarily giving those one answer. You give a question and then you just got one answer, yes or no, but you don't expound upon anything. So that's so important, like you said, being able to I call it kind of selling yourself
Right.
as far as in an interview and things like that. But I just wanted you to talk about that because I thought that was so important. And then in the credibility part, you said that credibility is essential, right?
Yes, it is.
All right. So let's talk about that because now we've heard a lot lately about essential workers and all those kind of things. And so we can you share a little bit about that?
Yes, because to me, essential, vital, important, you know, yeah, I mean, that just means so much because, now I am a big person on telling the truth.
All
So,
right.
like me, like you and I, we down like 4 flat tires. But Carol, you got one time to tell me a lie. That's it, girlfriend. That is it.
Oh my God. Yes,
We're
I
gonna
love that.
have to cut ties because you just lost your credibility. Don't lie to me. Now, you might say something, and I might, well, I wish Carol hadn't done that. But tell me the truth. I can get over the truth, but
Mhm.
because if you're gonna lie to me, that means I cannot trust you. And your
Yes.
credibility, I mean, that is, I mean, I just can't say enough about that. That
Mhm.
is to put it in simple terms as far as how you gain something like that and how you can lose something like that. Just even think about credit.
Mhm.
So, you work hard, you hear people talking about, oh, you need at least a 700 uh, credit score. So you work and work. How do you do that? Pay your bills on time. Don't be late. Blase, blase. Sometimes pay a little bit more than the minimum, and don't add all these credit cards. So you get this
Mm.
score, and it's just improving. And then you decide, I'm gonna buy a car. Sure, like that car he driving in. Okay, can you afford it? I talked about this last week. Do you have hoopty money, Escort or Volkswagen, or do you have Mercedes money? You got money to go buy a little whatever is the smallest little car you can get. You go and buy a Mercedes. You not only can you not make the monthly payments, but you forgot
Mhm.
you have maintenance, you have
Mhm.
insurance.
Mm.
So then you start paying late. You start sending in part of the payment. So you had that good credit, now it's gone down. Then
Mm.
you get your whip taken from you because you can't even pay for it. But that's just like your credibility. Your credibility is so important.
Right.
I've known you for about a year, but everything that I know about you, you are very integrous, you're very timely.
Mhm.
Whatever you say, I can depend on you to do it. If you can't do something or you want to think about it, you don't just say, oh yeah, I do it. Deborah, let
Mhm.
me think about that. Or Deborah, let me, go through this and get over this. And then we'll talk about, doing something
Mhm.
else.
Mhm.
That's building your credibility. And
Mhm.
that is so key because if
Mhm.
you trust someone, I can trust someone with my life, that's great. But if you can't
Mhm.
trust anyone, and no one can trust you, that's awful. That's
It
awful.
is true.
Yeah,
Mhm.
not
It
to
is. Well,
someone not
thank
to trust you.
mm. Yeah, it is. And I guess that's why we become friends, because those are principles that I really am a stickler about. Don't lie to me. I just can't do liars. And so that's important that we tell the truth. And like you were just saying, if you can't do something, just tell the truth. But you also said something else, and I think this is so important. We have to learn to live within our means, and then you said credit cards. Now, I'm gonna just fess up. After college, I was the credit card queen, but I had to learn the hard way. And you do want to let let the young adults know, let young men know that, like you said, your credit may be the only vital thing that you can have that's going to help you. But if you destroy that in the beginning, you've already messed up everything. And it's really hard. It's really difficult to rebuild that credit. So I know when people get out of college, they inundate us with credit cards, and we just have to, teach our young men and teach them that they have to. To me, that's like a trap with those credit
Wow.
cards, So we have to start teaching them very early the importance of credit cards and their credibility with the credit cards, because yeah, they'll give them to you. They'll start sending them to you as young as a person can be. But if you don't have the discipline with those credit cards, that can be when you really want something and you can't get it. When you really want to get that apartment and move out your mom's house, and you can't get it because you've messed up your credibility and your credit. So, yes, it is important that we keep our credibility. It's so important that we learn how essential it is, because it is really hard to rebuild trust. It's really hard to rebuild, especially if you mess that up. It's really hard to rebuild those kind of things. And so I think, like you said, it's better to keep it work, to make sure you keep it in the right place than to mess it up and have to rebuild. So
All
I
right.
think that's really good. So building it, and yeah, like you said, it takes 1 second to mess up a reputation. And I also want to talk to you about, even in our credibility, how important do you think that our character is with our credibility? How important is that?
Your character is important as well, because I mean, how do you carry yourself? Are you
Mm-hmm.
a respectful person? You have an ugly attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who's that has this little saying that it's your attitude that takes you farther than your altitude?
Right.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, the way you talk to people, the way you interact with people can really have a lasting impression on them. So you want
Mm-hmm.
the lasting impression to be a good one rather than a negative one.
Right. Right.
Some
Right.
people, I remember years ago when I was working, and we had one of the CEO of the company was on the elevator, and somebody got on the elevator. They talking loud and they acting ignorant, and somebody said, "What? I don't care about who on there."
Ooh.
Hey, you ain't know who was on there. Be
Mm-hmm.
See, it's one of those times you get run it off at the mouth, and you don't know somebody trying to help you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't, people don't listen, but your character. Oh, with that, somebody was talking. We were talking about. We got on this subject of. We were talking about having Bible study, talk about worship and how different people worship. But we were talking about this one particular young lady because she's so quiet, and so this guy said, "Well, when you were in the world, you was all loud and stuff." And I said, "Well, no, I beg to differ." I said, "Because when you are in the world, you're loud and you are loud in worship." I said, "But she's quiet in church." I said, "Now I could never envision her at a game yelling and screaming.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
She would sit there and she would watch the game." That's
Mm-hmm.
just her personality. She's poised. She always acts like a lady.
Mm-hmm.
She raised two girls and she raised them that way. They're
Mm-hmm.
the perfect young ladies.
Mm-hmm.
They're respectful. Their character. They know when to talk, when not to talk,
Mm-hmm.
how to act. And that, goes a long way. So when when you have a encounter with an adult,
Mm-hmm.
you need to go and select someone. Who are they going to select? Are they going to select
Mm-hmm.
Susie over there yelling and making noise, skirt all up her
Oh,
butt,
wow.
the guy that's pants that's sagging down,
Mm-hmm.
his shirt all open? Are,
Mm-hmm.
are they going to look at those that's over there sitting at the table, talking quietly, studying, doing whatever? It's their
Mm-hmm.
character. You have
Mm-hmm.
to care about yourself first and
Right.
foremost.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't care about yourself and respect yourself,
Mm.
that should be the starting point of your character.
Right. You must respect yourself. Right.
Self.
And with you saying that as well, they have to know how to respect themselves and how important it is that a person learn their true identity, because then you don't want to have to act like anybody else. So how important do you think that is, that very early, if we begin to just know who we are and not try to be, like you said, build your best life, but you got to know who you are in order to begin to build that. So you want to share anything on that one?
Yes, to build your best life, and it is your best life, like you say, you have to start with yourself. And I've given several sessions on just that. You are
Mm-hmm.
your numero uno, you're number one, and you have to care about yourself. A lot of people, you hear a lot of people say, well, when you get to be a man, you got to take care of your family.
Mm-hmm.
You get to be a man, you have to take care of yourself. If you aren't taking care of yourself, making sure that you're sound, you have a sound mind,
Mm-hmm.
body, and spirit, you got to take care of your body,
Mm-hmm.
that you are able to communicate,
Mm-hmm.
hold a job, to articulate with other people, communicate with other people.
Mm-hmm.
You can't help your family.
Mm-hmm.
Where, relationships, whether it's married or dating, or whether it gets into trouble, because you
Mm-hmm.
have to take care of yourself. Who are you? If you don't know who you are, how are you
Mm.
going to mix up with someone else?
Right. Right.
So it's very, very important for you to love yourself, because you may be someone that has been told all your life, you're no
Mm-hmm.
good, you never amount to anything. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to get into a space where you realize, hey, I was listening to that lady on Being Your Best Life, and she said,
Mm-hmm.
I'm loved just like everybody else. And that's right. When God made you, He
Right.
broke the mold. There was
He
just
broke it.
one. Who are you?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you like it. And it is so funny that, you have to be yourself, because people are going to make fun of you regardless.
They
I
are.
don't care if it's something that you're doing that's good, or if it's something that you're doing that's bad, they're going to make fun of you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at work, and they started the business casual. My mom taught me how to dress a certain way, and that's how I
Mm-hmm.
always dress, because I dress
Mm-hmm.
and I'm in the house at work, but I dress.
Uh-huh.
That's what my mom taught me, and my sixth grade teacher. So that's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
So when we started the casual dressing and dressing down, I would still, and I was in management as well, but I would still dress. And I was one that it took me the longest to stop wearing stockings. But they would just make fun of me. We know when you coming, because we can hear your stockings. We
Oh,
know
wow.
blah 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 blah. Okay. And then they will know, okay, when we gonna be able to dress down? And then you want to say, but you dress down every day. You give people an inch, they take a mile. So
Right.
like you just rolled out of the bed and got in the car and came to work.
Wow.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
so it doesn't matter. So as long as you are satisfied with your style, as long as you are clean, your
Exactly.
clothes are pressed, and they don't smell.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't pick them up and put them now. Okay, is it clean or not? You got to smell it. You got to figure out if it's clean or not.
Right.
But if that's the way you like to dress, that's the way you dress. If you rather put on a dress shirt and a tie and that's you're comfortable with that, that's how
Right.
you dress.
Right.
But be yourself. Don't
Mm.
you start um, doing things because other people do them.
Mm.
Start
Mhm.
out with the way they dress, the way they wear their hair. Then it'll be doing little bad things that they do.
Mhm.
You have to
Mhm.
be very, very careful with that. It is important to be yourself.
Because one thing can lead to another if you're not very careful. And
Right.
I'm glad you brought up that about, be the best, be the best you can be, but we always want to be looking to improve, in areas that we need to improve in. But I'm glad you said that about the personal hygiene because that is so important too. Because if we go to a place and like you said, if you got to sniff it and smell the shirt or the blouse, you don't need to wear that. And there's this commercial where this young man was on a date and he pulled off his top and all his clothes were just wrinkled and looked like he had just slept in it. So you do that's a message that we send by the way we dress. Our appearance is so important as we are building our best life. And we want our young people, we want our young men to know that that's important. And then you said something about, be the best you, but what about compromising? How does that building your best life keep us from compromising our values, our integrity, our appearance, all of that, compromising? Just can you share a little bit on that?
Well, right, compromising. So, well, that's why it's very, very, very important. The first thing that you want somebody to understand is you are important. The way
Mm.
you are made, your values. What do you value?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, those are the clothes that you wear. Why do you wear them? Do you wear them because that's what you like?
Mm.
Then you stand behind that.
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's it's like, okay, so I'm gonna. I normally wear. I'm a young man, so I normally wear a polo shirt, maybe a button-down shirt, and with some nice pressed jeans, or even sometimes I wear casual pants. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the way I go to work, and that's how I'm comfortable. I'm always pressed, always neat and clean, smelling good. That's me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you start hanging out with this other guy, and he dresses a different way than you dress. He dresses in, let's just say, he takes it up a level from you. He wears shirt and tie every day.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's comfortable doing. Now,
Mm-hmm.
in order to hang with him, do you feel you need to compromise and change the way you dress when you're not comfortable with that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
my mom made me wear shirt and ties. From the time I can remember, every Sunday and Tuesday I had to wear shirt and tie to church. I'm not. I don't want to wear shirt and tie. So, what's more important for you to be you, or for you to hang with that particular person? What does that person have that you need to make them one of your associations so badly?
Mm-hmm.
Compromise for that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They made fun of me. They made fun of me all they wanted to. That was the way I was comfortable dressing. I didn't care what they said, you know.
Right. Right.
So I mean, you have to, you have to do what's best for you, what's comfortable for you, because when you begin to start compromising again,
Mm-hmm.
you compromise in other areas, and some of those areas may be detrimental to you.
Right. And I love that you said that too, because even when we start thinking about people compromising, and being true to yourself and know who you really are, and then that can be very, very challenging for the young people during this time. That can be challenging to stand up. I say sometimes you got to stand up and sometimes you got to stand by yourself. But if that's what you believe that that's how you need to dress, that makes you feel better, that makes you feel good about yourself, then you need to know it's okay to be different in that area, and don't be afraid to be different if that's who you really are, especially if it's leading you to have and build your best life, because that's ultimately what you want to have. So but even now we see so many challenges for our young men, just things that they have to go through. Do you have any thoughts that you can just share, even with parents that might be struggling with one of their children, and they see where they've compromised, they see where that they're making wrong choices, because I hear that a lot of times too. I don't know what to do with them. I don't know how to relate to them. I don't know what do you advise a parent in that situation to do when you got principles here, and so if a parent is kind of in that place where they don't know what to do, what could you offer them as far as hope for young people, for their young person?
Well, first of all, as a parent, and I talked about this Tuesday, we
Hmm.
have to admit when we don't know something.
Wow. Hmm.
Excuse me. So if we are not comfortable, talking to our child about what we think is going on, we don't know how to approach them. You need to talk to somebody. Who can I talk?
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
if you don't know anyone that has like a platform like Build Your Best Life, you have one of those for girls. What is it, Divas?
Yeah.
And, Asia Scott.
Asa, yeah.
We have all these things out there, so you have to ask somebody. This is when you get the village involved. So
Hmm.
if you know how to talk to them, you have to talk to them. And I've talked about crucial conversations. It
Mm.
comes down to your child and them being the best that they can be. And
Hmm.
you want to know that when they walk out that door, they're going to walk back in it.
Hmm.
You should be comfortable having those crucial conversations. There should be no subject that's off limits between you and your child. Because if you're not communicating with your child, you can forget it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Not mention that you're not growing with your child, but if you're
Right.
not communicating, you can forget it. Because your
Mm.
child can have so much in here that they need help with. They can be hurting.
Mm.
You can be talking to them in a manner that just does something to them.
Mm.
They can be being bullied at school, and you never know. Kids, and this starts in elementary school, but elementary school, middle school, high school, college, people are being bullied for weeks, years, and their parents never know. As parents, you got to slow down too.
Oh. Hmm.
Slow down. Our kids did not ask to come here. And I'm
Wow.
not saying anything to anybody that I wouldn't say to Deborah, because at one time I was busy and doing things in this organization and that organization. But when God has loaned you a child, you're
Hmm.
responsible for that child until they're out on their own.
Hmm. Hmm.
So there is what's the word I'm looking for? You need to spend time with that child. And I'm trying to I can't think of the word I want to say, but uh, important time with them. Like
Hmm.
not just, they're in one room on a device, you sitting look in the same room looking at TV. That's not being with them.
Hmm.
Hey, let's try something new. When we're having dinner, let's start having dinner together. And as we're having dinner, we're not going to have any devices. We're not going to have TV on, whatever. Let's just talk. How was your day in school?
Hmm. Hmm.
And sometimes you start those conversations, then they might tell you a little bit more. Find out what's going on.
Hmm.
But those are some of the things that you have to do. But then you have to talk to that child, and then if you find out what's going on, then you know how to communicate to them and try to explain to them what they need to do. Well, son, I know you think I'm strict. Friends are able to just get in the car and go up to the skate ring or go to the movies and do different things. And you have to ask me, and then I have to let you know whether or not you can go. And then
Hmm.
I tell you, if you do go, how many people that you can be with.
Hmm.
I'm not being mean. I'm telling you this because I look at the news. I
Mm-hmm.
know how many kids leave home
Mm-hmm.
just to have simple fun and they
Mm-hmm.
never make it back.
Mm-hmm.
They're either hanging with the wrong crowd
Right.
or they can be minding their own business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You may be too young, but years ago, there was a guy that was just in a car with his friends playing music. And
Mm-hmm.
someone complained that the music was too loud and shot him to death. I need
Mm-hmm.
to know who you're with and who those people are because I know their character as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But if I didn't do this, I would not be being your mom. So
Mm-hmm.
don't take it as, just take it as love. And I'm trying to help you not
Mm-hmm.
make mistakes. Maybe that I made mistakes as I was coming up or your cousins or whatever. But I'm trying to help you.
Mm-hmm. And I like that you talked about that, we have to tell the truth, and our children have been just, this been a gift from God that he's given to us. But, sometimes we parents don't want to have those crucial conversations, but it's imperative that we do. And then, like you just answered, for parents who have not been able to communicate or see the communication line has stopped, or you can't. I love that you say reach out. This platform is an awesome place to reach out to. Your platform is awesome to have parents to reach out if they don't know what to say. And like you said, I love because you say I just tell the truth, and if they want the truth, they can ask Deborah because you will tell them the truth. But communication is so key, and that telling them, I think you said tell them why you're, like you said, I'm not strict, I'm not being mean, but this is why I've set these rules and these standards in place. And I'm a firm believer that we do have to set boundaries. The boundaries are important, but we also have to know that our kids will push the boundary line, and we have to know when to let them know that that's not going to work. But it's so important that we listen. It's so important that we give them some whys. And then I think on your show where we were talking about, we had Bishop Gunn. He talked about how the devices were all in the way and nobody was communicating. And that seems to be some of the issues. We've given devices to entertain our kids and not communicate. So I love what you said too. Let's try something new. And even if they seem like they're not listening or paying attention, we can't allow ourselves to give up on them and say, I'm throwing my hands up. And then when you got your hands up, reach out to the village is what you're saying, because it is so many platforms. It's so many. COVID has caused us to look in various areas. And so don't be afraid to say, I don't know how, or I need, especially to say, I need help, because if you don't ask for help, how are you going to get the help?
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And this
So,
is free help that they can get. This is not going to cost anything. Like right
mm-hmm.
now, if they were on here, they could put something in the comments. Hey, can I
Right.
get in contact with you? I need to ask you some questions.
Mm-hmm.
No
Yeah.
problem. Put your
Right.
information in the chat and I'll be glad to call you.
Right. And that is so good, Deborah, that you're willing to, to to help and be part of a village to someone who needs help. So I want to encourage you, if you are listening or you are out there, that you have someone that popped in your head that, might need this kind of help, then I would ask you to share this platform, Deborah Smith, Building Your Best Life. Would you share that with that person? Would you make sure that that person get that information where there is some help if you need some help? Don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to say you don't know, because I'm sure there's a lot of us. If it's not raising children, there's many things that we can say that we don't know about. And so we need to reach out and be afraid, not be afraid. And as Coach Ricardo say, there's always somebody assigned to help you. So don't hesitate to get the help. So we have enjoyed our conversation here tonight. Miss Deborah, you have anything else you want to kind of share with them before we get ready to close?
No, just want to make sure again that you know that like I said, I don't know everything, but that's why I have guests to come on that have expertise in different areas. The village, we need the village. So I have pastors and educators and parents and the youth themselves coming on so we can get the perspective of different people in order that we can help everyone with every type of situation. So, I'm here on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, here to assist and help. So, please, 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 if you know someone that could benefit from this information, please share this video with them. Send us comments, but most of all, just share it, because there are some people, they don't know. As Coach Miller says, you don't know what you don't know. So there are parents that don't know where the resources are to get the help that they need. So we have to share it with them. So I share with people. They may get tired of me sharing, but I continue to share until they tell me I don't want that information. I'm going to share, because that's my passion. And I want to see people better. I am so tired of every time I hear something about a young man, it's something bad. Right. Oh, he probably selling drugs. Oh, he's no good. Or all they want to do is be on the corner. That is not true. If you follow my platform, you will see I have all types of young men on my platform. Artists, musicians, great students. And they're not trying to be better. They are better, but they are doing what they need to be doing. I have a group coming on next week. The original Christians, the OCs, they're not doing some of anything, but these are young men that are singing Christian music, and they are going to be on next Thursday, the 18th. Okay. You want to tune in. But I had an opportunity to listen to their Christmas music, that they had a music review, I guess, Christmas Eve, and it was wonderful. So please tune in on next Thursday. But my website is www.buildyourbestlife.org, www.buildyourbestlife.org, and you can go out there and reach me and leave a comment here on my website. But I thank you so much for tuning in, and please tell people about the book, because the book has all of the basic principles in it that I teach about. It will not only help, I know youth and young adult males are my passion, but the things that I teach will help you from 0 to 100. So the book is for everybody, and you can get the book off my website or Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com. And if you're in the Bahamas, you can reach out to Anastasia Smith. She has copies so that you don't have to pay all that shipping or whatever. But I'm trying to make this information convenient for you to get, because I know it will help you to help our young men. So thank you so much, Carol.
Well, I'm so excited that we had an opportunity to share again tonight, and I so look forward to our next time, the second Thursday of each month, we will be sharing. And thank you, Deborah, so much for your heart and your passion for our young adults, because it shows in everything that you do. And I'm so excited to be able to share that with you. So I look forward to next Thursday that we're together again. All right.
Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Have a blessed night.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.